Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's discussion assignment. And I do have to say that I was quite excited about doing this discussion assignment this week, as it's something that I've never done before, and I'm really interested in this idea of colors and stuff. So I had to pick two colors, and to be totally honest with you guys, I really don't have like a favorite color and a least favorite color. But if I would have to pick, I'm just gonna be generic like most guys and pick blue, and I specifically picked pure blue because it's really simple and easy. And then for my least favorite color, I couldn't really think of anything again, so I just picked puke green. So, first thing they asked me to do is ask me to take this RGB code, this RGB triplet, and convert it into an hex code, a hexagonal code, I believe. Yeah. So, what is an RGB triplet? Well, RGB triplet has how much of each color it is. It's red, green, blue. Obviously, if it's pure blue like it is, it's going to have zero red, zero green, and then it's going to have completely full with blue, and that's 255. So let's convert this. So what we got to do is we got to take each value, 0, divided by 16, which still gets 0, and add 0, because you always add the remainder. So that would be 2 zeros for red, green is the same, 2 zeros for green, and then you move on to blue. You take 255 divided by 16, you get 16. And then after that, you have to add 16. It's technically 15.9, whatever, but it's pretty much exactly 16, so it becomes what 16 is in like the numerical code thing when it goes above base 10. So it's F, because it's 6 above, and F is the sixth number in the alphabet, so it becomes FF. So the final hex code for pure blue ends up being number sign 0000FF. And then that brings me to doing it the opposite way, and specifically switching from a hex code to a RGB code. Let me grab a little bit of coffee really quick. Apologies, I'm so addicted to coffee, it's not great. Anyway, so yeah, going from hex to RGB. And what you got to do here, first of all, the hex code for puke brown, the color that I chose, is number sign 947B30. This code looks a little bit different, but it's not much more difficult to do. And if you split these up, remember it splits up into 3 sets of 2. You get 94 on the red, 7B on the green, and 30 on the blue. Okay, so for each of these, you got to convert it. So the first thing you got to do is take the first digit, multiply that by 16. So for the first one, that becomes 144. And then you add that to the second digit, which in this situation is 4. So then that's 144 plus 4, so it becomes 148. For green, you start with 7B. You multiply the first digit by 16, you get 112. And remember that B is 11. And because you know B is 11, from the other thing before, you could just substitute in 11. So you add 11 to 112, and you get 123. Same with the third one. Blue is 30, so you times 3 by 16. You get 48. Obviously, you add 0, because there's 0 in the second digit, and you get 48. So then the RGB triplet for that one becomes 148, 123, and 48. So let me make sure there's nothing else I have to talk about here. What surprised you about the content on colors and base systems? I wouldn't say I'm surprised by anything. I think it's really cool, though, that we use different bases and things like this. I think it's sick. That we come up with all kinds of cool scientific ways to do things that honestly, like, I never knew about. I'm not an artistic guy, so I think it's just really cool how we use like a base 16, for instance, instead of trying to use a base 10, because we probably could have used a base 10. I don't know, not sure. I'm not sure exactly why we're using a base 16, but it's just really cool to see us using different types of bases. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.